I'm Scarlett, a 31-year-old veterinarian, and this story happened 9 months ago. I'm sharing it now because the trial just ended, and I want people to understand that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones sleeping in your guest room. I'd been best friends with Madison Clark since we were 16. We went to the same high school, same college, and she was the maid of honor at my wedding 3 years ago. When my marriage fell apart last year, Madison was there for me through everything. Madison was gorgeous, charismatic, and had this way of making everyone around her feel special. She was also incredibly smart. She had a PhD in chemistry and worked as a pharmaceutical researcher. Everyone always said we were like sisters. After my divorce, Madison had been staying with me temporarily while she looked for a new apartment. It had been 6 months, but I didn't mind the company. She helped with bills, cooked amazing meals, and was always there when I needed to talk. Madison had also been incredibly supportive of my new relationship with Alex, a detective I'd met 4 months earlier. She'd encouraged me to start dating again and always asked about our dates with genuine interest. "You deserve someone who treats you right," she'd say. "Alex seems perfect for you." The nightmare started on a Tuesday morning in October. I woke up to find my 2-year-old golden retriever, Luna, lying motionless in the backyard. She was my everything. I'd rescued her as a puppy, and she'd been my constant companion through the divorce. I immediately knew something was wrong. Luna was young, healthy, and had been perfectly fine the night before. As a veterinarian, I'd seen enough cases to know this wasn't natural. I called Alex, sobbing and barely coherent. He rushed over and found me cradling Luna's body in the backyard. "I'm so sorry, baby," he said, holding me while I cried. "We'll figure out what happened." Madison appeared moments later, looking appropriately shocked and devastated. "Oh my God, Scarlett, I'm so sorry. What could have caused this?" Alex, being a detective, immediately started asking questions. "When did you last see Luna? Alive? Was she acting strange? Did she get into anything she shouldn't have?" I told him Luna had been fine at dinner time, playing in the backyard while Madison and I watched a movie. Madison nodded, confirming the timeline. "She seemed completely normal," Madison added. "We should probably have an autopsy done to make sure it wasn't something contagious." I agreed, and Alex helped me arrange for Luna's body to be examined by a forensic veterinarian I knew. While we waited for results, Alex started investigating. He canvassed the neighborhood, looking for anyone who might have seen something suspicious. Mrs. Patterson, my elderly neighbor, mentioned seeing a strange car parked outside my house around midnight, right around the time Luna would have been let out for her final bathroom break. The autopsy results came back 3 days later, and they were devastating. Luna had been poisoned with a massive dose of digoxin, a heart medication that's lethal to dogs in large quantities. The amount found in her system was enough to kill a horse. But here's what made my blood run cold. Digoxin isn't something you can just buy at a store. It's a controlled prescription medication, and whoever had done this would have needed access to pharmaceutical-grade compounds. Alex immediately became suspicious of my ex-husband, thinking this might be some kind of revenge plot. But I knew Marcus would never hurt Luna. He'd loved her almost as much as I did. "Who else has access to those kinds of drugs?" Alex asked. The answer hit me like a truck. Madison worked for a pharmaceutical company. She had access to all kinds of controlled substances, but that was impossible. Madison loved Luna. She'd been devastated by her death. She'd even helped me plan a memorial service. Alex suggested we install security cameras around the house in case whoever did this came back. Madison thought it was a great idea and helped him set them up. "We need to protect Scarlett," she said. "Whoever did this is clearly targeting her." The cameras were installed on a Friday. By Monday morning, we'd caught something that changed everything. The footage showed Madison leaving the house at 11:47 p.m. the night Luna died. She returned at 12:23 a.m., carrying a small bag that she disposed of in the neighbor's trash can. My best friend of 15 years had murdered my dog. Alex and I watched the footage in stunned silence. I felt like I was going to vomit. "We need to confront her," I said. "No," Alex replied firmly. "If she's willing to poison your dog, we need to be very careful about how we handle this. Let me investigate further first." Alex retrieved the bag from the neighbor's trash. Inside were disposable gloves, a syringe, and a small vial that tested positive for digoxin. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was what Alex found when he ran Madison's name through the police database. Madison had been questioned in connection with 2 suspicious deaths in the past 5 years. Both victims had been young women who had died from mysterious poisoning incidents. Both cases had been ruled inconclusive due to lack of evidence. Both victims had been Madison's best friends. Alex immediately contacted the FBI. Within hours, my house was under surveillance, and Madison was being watched around the clock. I had to continue living with her while acting completely normal, knowing she was a serial killer who had murdered my dog and was probably planning to kill me next. The next few days were the most terrifying of my life. I had to pretend everything was fine. While federal agents worked to build a case against her, Madison seemed completely normal. She comforted me about Luna's death, helped me look for security system upgrades, and even suggested I should be more careful because clearly someone was targeting me. She was enjoying watching me suffer while positioning herself as my protector. But Madison made one crucial mistake. She got impatient. Alex had been staying over every night to keep me safe, which was clearly frustrating Madison's plans. She started making subtle suggestions that maybe Alex was too controlling and that his constant presence was unhealthy. "You don't want to rush into another relationship too quickly," she said. "Maybe you should ask him to give you some space." When I didn't take her advice, she escalated. The agents monitoring our house observed Madison researching my daily routines, my work schedule, and my relationship with Alex. She'd also been asking pointed questions about my will and life insurance policies. The FBI decided to set a trap. They had me tell Madison that Alex and I had gotten into a big fight and that I'd asked him to stay away for a few days. They wanted to see what Madison would do if she thought I was vulnerable and alone. Madison's reaction was immediate and chilling. She became incredibly attentive, suggesting we have a girls' night to help me process everything. "You don't need a man to be happy," she said. "We've always been there for each other. That's what real friendship is." The trap was set for a Friday night. I was wired with recording equipment, and the house was surrounded by federal agents. Madison prepared an elaborate dinner, all my favorite foods. She opened a bottle of expensive wine and kept encouraging me to drink. "You need to relax," she said. "Forget about Alex. Forget about Luna. Just focus on us." As the evening progressed, Madison became more and more insistent that I finish my wine. She kept refilling my glass and seemed agitated when I wasn't drinking fast enough. "Are you okay?" I asked. "You seem nervous." "I'm fine," she said. "I just want you to feel better. Drink up." That's when I knew for certain that the wine was poisoned. I pretended to drink while actually spilling the wine into a hidden container. I also made sure to act progressively more drowsy and confused, as if the poison was taking effect. Madison watched me with intense focus, monitoring my every reaction. "I need to tell you something," she said as I pretended to become more disoriented. "I've been in love with you for 15 years. I almost broke character. "What?" "Ever since high school. I've been waiting for you to realize that men just disappoint you, that I'm the only one who really understands you." She moved closer, her voice becoming more intense. "Marcus was wrong for you. Alex is wrong for you. I'm the only one who's ever truly loved you." I pretended to be too drugged to respond coherently, but inside I was horrified. This wasn't just about murder. Madison had been obsessed with me for over a decade. "Those other girls," she continued, "they were just practice. Learning how to do this right. You're the only one who really matters." She was confessing to multiple murders while I pretended to be dying. "Luna was necessary," she said, stroking my hair as I slumped in my chair. "Alex was getting too close to you. I needed him to seem like a threat so you'd rely on me more." The plan was even more twisted than I'd imagined. Madison had killed Luna to drive a wedge between Alex and me, planning to position herself as my only trusted companion, before eventually poisoning me and making it look like a suicide brought on by grief. "After tonight, it'll just be us," she whispered. "Forever." That's when the FBI burst through the door. Madison was arrested while still holding the poisoned wine glass, with my unconscious body in her arms. The recording devices had captured her full confession. The investigation that followed revealed the scope of Madison's crimes. She'd been systematically targeting young women for years, befriending them, studying them, and then killing them when her obsession reached its peak. She'd murdered at least 4 women across 3 states, always using different poisons, and always making it look like natural causes or suicide. Madison had been using her chemistry background to develop untraceable methods of murder, and she'd been getting better at it with each victim. I was supposed to be her masterpiece, the culmination of 15 years of planning and preparation. The trial lasted 6 months. Madison's defense team tried to claim she was mentally ill, but the prosecution proved that her crimes were methodical, planned, and executed with clear intent. The evidence was overwhelming. The poisoned wine, the confession recording, the murder, weapons, and testimony from families of her previous victims. Madison was convicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. She received the death penalty. The most chilling part of the trial was learning about the journal Madison had kept for years. It contained detailed observations about my daily routines, my relationships, my fears, and my vulnerabilities. She'd been studying me like a research subject, planning every aspect of my eventual murder while pretending to be my closest friend. The journal entries show that Madison had deliberately sabotaged several of my relationships over the years, including my marriage to Marcus. She'd been manipulating my life for over a decade, isolating me and making me dependent on her. During the sentencing, Madison showed no remorse. She stared at me with the same cold intensity I'd seen that night when she thought I was dying. "You'll never find anyone who loves you as much as I did," she said as they led her away. The experience completely changed my perspective on trust and relationships. I realized that I'd been living with a predator who had been planning my death for years while I considered her my closest friend. Alex and I got married 6 months after the trial. He proposed with a ring that had a small charm in the shape of a golden retriever, a tribute to Luna, whose death had ultimately saved my life. We adopted a new dog, a German shepherd named Justice, who's been trained as a personal protection dog. I'll never again be as trusting or as vulnerable as I was with Madison. The hardest part was realizing that some of my happiest memories, graduations, birthdays, holidays, were all shared with someone who was planning to kill me. Madison is currently on death row, still maintaining that she was trying to save me from relationships that were wrong for me. She's appealed her conviction multiple times, but the evidence against her is overwhelming. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Alex hadn't been a detective, if we hadn't installed those cameras, if Madison had been more patient with her plan. But mostly I'm grateful that Luna's death, as tragic as it was, revealed the truth about Madison before she could complete her ultimate goal. I still visit Luna's grave every month. I tell her she was a hero who saved my life by being the canary in the coal mine. Her murder was what finally exposed the predator who had been hiding in plain sight for 15 years. The moral of the story: sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who know you best. Trust your instincts, pay attention to patterns, and never assume that someone's history with you guarantees their loyalty. Madison thought she was the perfect predator, but she underestimated the power of love, law enforcement, and a dog's ability to reveal the truth even in death.